And we now need to let these young people know that they have been duped. We have kind of let our guard down. And just to kind of segue from that, what we let our guard down is probably the most important place we can think about, and that's our educational system. As we've been kind of moving on and having our big dreams and being the eternal optimists that we are as a country, building our future, our kids, and vacation, we have not understood that evil has been at our doorstep every single step of the way. They have gotten into our educational system for decades, and they have eaten away like little termites on the most important thing that we can have to keep our future: a knowledge of our past, what we've done together, and most importantly, what makes our country work, the free market. We have kids coming out of college hating our country because of our Marxist laboratories we've been putting together for the last few decades.
I'm Dave Rubin, and this is the Rubin Report. Reminder, everybody, to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that pesky notification bell so that you're alerted when our new videos drop. And joining me today is a former NFL star and Super Bowl champion, now running for Congress in Utah's 4th District. Burgess Owens, welcome to the Rubin Report.
Dave, thanks so much. Looking forward to our chat for sure.
I'm glad to have you, man, because you are blowing up. Every time I turn on television now, I just did the Greg Gutfeld show with you a couple days ago, but every time I see somebody talking on Twitter, a video of somebody doing something, you seem to be right in the middle of things. You're enjoying this little congressional
I really am.
huh?
I really am, because we're having a conversation that's been long overdue, Dave. We've been talking hypothetically what can happen with socialism and Marxism. I mean, it's a conversation you can have for years and really not get through. We have an opportunity right now to let people know this is the way it looks when you give left power. They have no clue what to do with it other than to abuse it. So I think obviously it's tough times, but what I've come to understand about America, and I know my history, when we go through the toughest of times, as long as we know what the end game is, what it takes to win, we come together, we put aside our differences for a little bit of time, and we go out there and make things happen. So I see this as a great opportunity to talk with our Democratic friends who love our country, to our Black business owners for sure. They definitely get it. And then those who have in the past not been really engaged, we are literally fighting for the heart and soul of our nation. And those guys on the other side are totally, they've gone nuts because they realize how close they are to losing it all. So they are all hands on board. And just know that this is going to be probably the most important few months we have coming up in front of us now. We just need to make sure we take advantage of it. And as old Al Davis used to say in the old days, just win, baby. We need to get that done. Just win, baby.
So that's actually partly why I wanted to have you on, because of your history as an athlete, as an NFL player, and even the way you answered that question, there's always a certain rhythm, which I've always loved, the way so many athletes speak about things. And obviously you have some of that. And I think we sort of need a little bit more of that right now. People who know how to win, not win at all costs, but win within a certain framework of rules and respect for each other and respect for the country. And I really sense that out of you.
And I'll tell you what I'm excited about. I've been hearing from a lot of my peers, college peers and NFL peers. We came through a time when it was quite different. We came through a time where our parents did such a great job. And this is the thing that I think is being lost. We have had this last generation, the great generation, was truly remarkable. They succeeded in so many different ways. And to say that they were hapless and hopeless and oppressed is a put down to them in a big, big way. But what I've been getting is calls from guys that I came through college and pro, and they're all on board. We love the fact we're now talking about standing for our flag, standing for our country, respect, which we were taught by our parents to do, and we now need to let these young people know that they have been duped. We have kind of let our guard down, and just to kind of segue from that, what we let our guard down is probably the most important place we can think about. That's our educational system. As we've been kind of moving on and having our big dreams and being the eternal optimists that we are as a country, building our future, our kids, and vacation, we have not understood that evil has been at our doorstep every single step of the way. They have gotten into our educational system for decades, and they have eaten away like little termites on the most important thing that we can have to keep our future: a knowledge of our past, what we've done together, and most importantly, what makes our country work, the free market. We have kids coming out of college hating our country because of our Marxist laboratories we've been putting together for the last few decades. So this is a good time for us even to start addressing that issue. One of the things I cannot wait to do when we get to Congress, by the way, let me just give you guys a little quick advertisement. BurgessForUtah.com. Okay. BurgessForUtah.com. Go there, all right?
I promise you I was going to do it at the end. But wait. Let's back up a little bit because you hit a couple
Okay.
things there. So you mentioned the greatest generation, and you're talking about how so much of what's happening now seems to be an erasure of past. So you've had a pretty amazing past. You were one of the first 3 black football players at University of Miami. Everybody knows about the incredible football history there. Can you just back up first and just tell us a little bit about where you're from, what your folks were like, just growing up, all that kind of stuff?
I would love to, because this is probably the biggest pride I have is my upbringing. And because so many people don't know about it, it's a shocker. It's important to realize the message of my background is very simply this. This country will give anyone the opportunity to get to the middle class if we understand the tenets that we need to get there. And it doesn't matter how poor we come, what color we are, how little we understand language. If we understand it's all about education, faith, industry, and family, we got it. So that being said, the black community, because they understood those tenets, the 40s, 50s, and 60s led our country in the growth of the middle class. Men matriculated from college, men committed to marriage over 70%, and the percentage of entrepreneurs. We had in our communities business owners everywhere. Keep in mind, there were no white people in my community. So everything was driven by black entrepreneurs.
That black entrepreneurship. Where did you grow up?
In Tallahassee, Florida, deep south Tallahassee, days of KKK, Jim Crow, segregation. I didn't have my first interaction with white Americans until I was 16 years old. But I grew up in a community that was so proud of who they were. Our dads came back from war. They were proud of who they were. I was taught never let that flag touch the ground. It would be desecrated. I was really proud of that. But the most important thing is that the 40% of business ownership equated to over 50 to 60% of black Americans across our country. DC, the South, Texas, California. We had relatives all across the board, all part of the middle class. And that was the way our country was, our race was. That has been flipped upside down, where we now have 3.8% business ownership. And that's, of course, our middle class is going down, and unfortunately, the most important thing about the middle class, most of it now has become elitist. So a great big group of elitists, a bigger group of poor, and a very small group of that very empathetic, loving, serving, outside the box thinking middle class. So we have to get that back. And Dave, I'll tell you, if I can just warn our fellow Americans what the real attack is, the real battle we're fighting right now, obviously is our culture. But what the left wants to do is destroy our middle class. Why? Because the middle class is a stakeholder of our culture. That's where we find the best of Americans. Those who are going out there, they work, they pay their bills, they pay their payroll, they dream, they fail, they step back up again, and their goal is very simple: to build something and give to their kids, a legacy. And here's the other piece of it. Business owners realize one thing: when customers come through their door, they know they have the discipline to be a nice person. Why? Because they want them to come back again. Even if they're knuckleheads, they want to come back and keep buying that product. That is, in essence, what draws people to our country. The bigger that middle class is, the more vibrant our freedom really is, and the more educated we are, and the whole bit. And that's what they're after. That's where you look at their COVID, what they were trying to do, these Marxists, these folks who are totally heartless because they've never understood what it is to build a business. They want to shut down our economy, shut down businesses, make sure they fail. Why? Because at the end of the day, they want a power in November. They allow, these mayors allow these thugs to come through these black communities, and every 4 years, destroy them, destroy the infrastructure. Why? Because those black business owners will they're lifting themselves out of that poverty to the middle class. So this is what we're after. If we understand that, then we understand our enemy, and the enemy is not us. It's not Republicans and Democrats and independents. It's those who truly adhere to an evil ideology of socialism and Marxism. And because they do, they can care less. They have no heart for anybody else but themselves. And they don't mind. And in my case, with the black community, they will use, abuse, and discard, because that's what it takes for them to continue to win their battle.
As somebody that grew up in the segregated South, Jim Crow laws, and you mentioned you didn't really have interactions with white America, let's say, till you're 16 years old. You know, then you become an NFL star. You're playing in college, NFL star, Super Bowl champion, have done all sorts of other stuff since then. Are you shocked that in 2020, right now as we talk, that we seemingly are at our, what the media would tell you is our worst race relations in decades. I don't think it's actually true. I think it's just the way that it's being framed and pushed on us. But are you shocked at sort of the moment that we're at right now?
Well, I guess I can't say I'm shocked because I know the enemy is tenacious. They are they just don't give up. There's no shame.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.